What up, good people? So you know how Instagram cut you off after an hour. Oh my god! Oh my god! All right, so I'm waiting on Pickett to come back on so I can bring him back on. Miss Glenda, what up, Wakil? You know Instagram shuts you down after an hour. Oh my god! When I tell you my whole body is hurting right now from laughing, that boy Terrance is crazy, man. That boy crazy, man. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Who?
I'm about to yeah, Instagram shuts down after an hour.
Yeah, tell him.
So he's back on now. So you can log back in and he'll bring you on. Alright. Hey.
Whew. All right, so Pig is supposed to be coming back through. Big Steve. Lord have mercy, Big Steve. Bruh. Steve, when I tell you, listen, look here, brother. When I tell you my whole body hurt me from laughing at that dumb behind Terrance Pickett. Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
Hey, Trey,
You were the first meme
you
that said,
you remember you remember I forget what the guy's name is, but you had to do that live feed.
I knew you was gonna bring that up. I knew you was gonna bring that up. C.S. Lewis.
Hey,
Screw tape letters. Screw
so
tape letters.
so what happens is in radio, we look at a screen. There's three screens, maybe four. How many screens was it?
Where you got the two
You got
monitors, then
Simeon.
you got the radio monitor, then you got the it was at least three boards, but yeah.
So train. So there are like three screens, and then there's a side computer. What
Right.
happens is whatever is playing, whatever music is going on, it charts it out for you, tell you the news is next, what song is going to be played next. You
Right.
have an option. You can do that live, or you can put it on auto. What Train would run the board. He's a really good tech guy. So so he's on the board. He's running the station, and you have news alerts or live reads that'll come up on the board, and it tells you what to say. There's a whole script there. All you got to do, all you got to do, all you got to do is read what they put up there. That's all. You ain't got to write nothing. Just read it. So Train is on the board, and C.S. Lewis is coming to Jacksonville, I believe. And Train has to do a live, it's called a live read. So
Right, because the commercials are on, and the commercials are on autopilot at this point. So the board is not being manned.
oh,
Terrance he done stepped away from the board. I'm sitting there, and the commercials are on autopilot. So the next commercial come up, it plays. Well, the slot that was coming up, you don't know that it's a live feed until it gets to that slot. So like one before it, and then the notification came up saying a live read. And you can't have dead air on the radio. And it's like live read, mind you, the monitor that I have to read it off of is to the right of the sound board for the board, the radio board. So it's up on these monitors, and I'm leaning forward trying to, and it's in a little column. And I'm like, well, what? I was like, hey man, it's a live read coming up. So a live read, he's the one that's supposed to do all the live reads because the people them paid to have the host voice be on their stuff. So it wasn't on me. It's supposed to be on him. So he's in the hallway playing around, lollygagging. He's not even in the studio. So the doggone thing came up saying live read, and the radio air is silent. And I know we're not supposed to have dead air. And it's on a timer.
We can get fined.
Like the live read's supposed to be done in a certain amount of seconds, or it's going to run to the next commercial. Brother, listen to me. Because the board is on autopilot. And I'm telling Terrance, hey man, it's a live read coming up. He's not even in the studio. He can see me, but he can't hear me. And
I had to get some water.
Because it's a live read. Well, now
I had to get some water.
Read this thing. I've never seen it before in a day in my life. Is it a commercial that the people have written up themselves about this play that's supposed to be coming to the Florida Theater.
The screw tape letters.
The Times Junior Theater, huh?
Screw tape letters.
It wasn't written well at all. So I'm leaning over the board trying to read this monitor, and I'm reading. I am live on air reading this commercial for the very first time. Never seen it before in my life. And it's the way the column is set up. The structure of a complete sentence isn't like that at all. You probably got about 3 words per line. Am I right? It's a small frame. It's about 3 words on each line. So I'm reading it, and they got some stuff in there. I'm like, I'm fumbling over these words. I'm supposed to be doing I am live on air.
Hold on.
December 3rd, coming to the Times Union Theater, C.S. Lewis Screw Tape. Let it come on out. And so I'm trying to, and I'm fumbling over words. Terrance is coming back into the studio laughing at me because they hear me in the hallway messing this whole commercial up. He busts in the studio like, nigga, what is you doing? So he yelling and screaming. The microphones are hot. We're live over there. This fool yelling in the studio, what are you doing? And I'm like, and I'm looking at him like, man, I'm trying to read this thing like the mic is on. So I'm reading the commercial, and he falls on my shoulder. Talking about, he falls on my shoulder, laughing in the mouth. And I'm like, man, stop, get up. So, and then I don't stop talking. I go back to the top of the commercial, trying to read it again. By this time, Tracy's standing in the door, looking at me like, turn it off.
Now hold on. That's not what.
It sounded like I'm on air reading like.
That's not what I remember. I'm gonna tell you what I remember. We had an agreement. You were running the board that day. Sometimes I ran the board, sometimes you ran it. But we had an agreement. If a live read came on, I would read it. You were running the board, but I was supposed to read the read. I stepped out to get water, came back. You didn't know the read was coming because remember, Simeon sometimes would skip the notification. Right.
I didn't know it was coming at all.
But when we finally saw that it was there, I was in the hallway. I was coming back in the studio. On my way back, all I hear is Screw. The screw tape. The screw tape. Listen, I heard screw tape about 5 times. And what happened was, if you remember correctly, what happened was the fonts.
The title of the play was so long.
The fonts on the read got smaller. They started out big, and they got smaller, which made it more difficult to read.
Because the commercial was about at least a 30-second commercial.
I'm going to be honest. Here's what I did. I came in laughing and screaming, nigga, what is you doing? It was so funny to me. It was so funny to me that he was botching up that commercial. I leaned on his shoulder, looking at him in his face, struggled to read. By this time, Tracy and all the staff on the radio is in there looking at.
And I'm still trying to read the commercial while he falling on my shoulders.
Bless his heart. He's so diligent. He's still trying. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Oh, man, that day, listen, that day right there was one of the funniest days ever. That day, and that day you laughed because that lady said she couldn't read till she was up.
Oh, listen, Biggie, that was you. You laughed at that lady because she said her mama couldn't read. She said her mama couldn't read. And Terrance sitting right in this lady's face. We're live on air. Again.
Man.
Live on air. And that lady was sharing the story right after commercial break. She didn't warn us about it at all. She went back on air and she opened up with how, you know, it was a long time before she began to speak.
She was 10 years old before she could speak.
For years, she's like, for years,
she was 10 years old before she could speak.
Right. She said she was about 10 before.
But her mama couldn't read till she was like 16 or something.
But hold on. So we're looking like first of all, we're thrown with that information because we're like, oh,
hold on, train.
And then before we can get that out good, she said, yeah, because actually my mom couldn't read. And when she said that,
hold on. So what happened is she was talking, and when she said that, it got quiet. Train was quiet. And I was quiet. Here's what made me lose it. What made me lose it is, y'all got to know Train.
Mind you, we sitting face to
Train
face to
has
this lady.
No emotions in his face. He don't raise his eyebrows when he talk. And both of us were quiet. What he did was he looked at me. He looked at me, and he didn't raise his eyebrows. He looked at me, and he said that. He just... He looked at me. He ain't say nothing. I swear to God. My head to God. He didn't say nothing, but he looked. He looked at me. When he looked at me, and I looked back at him and saw how dumb he looked, I lost it.
Terrance hits the floor. I am speaking literally right now. He hits the floor. He falls out of his chair. Headphones come off his head. He is on the floor in front of this lady's face. We're sitting in front of her, face to face. We're live on air. We're at the table with her. She's running the board for the radio. We're sitting across the table from her. Terrance falls on the floor laughing, and when he falls on the floor laughing, just like he's laughing now, he is laughing and crying in this lady's face. And I said over air, because it was dead air on the mic, and then next thing you know, you hear this laughter and somebody falls in the chair. And I said on radio, I looked at her, I said, you were laughing at somebody's mother who couldn't read.
Oh God. Oh God.
We had to go to commercial break quick. We had to go to commercial break real quick. That lady did not speak to us for weeks.
She said, because of what Trey did, she would never give her testimony. She said she'll never tell her story again. She'll never tell her story again. Boy, that day right now, I got in trouble. I got called into the GM's office, and I had to take the rap. What she said.
You should have. You fell on the floor laughing at lady because she said her mama could read.
Oh, my God. Boy, you got in so much trouble.
I'm going to tell you, you said that's one of the highlights, and it was. But I'm going to tell you another funny highlight that I never forget. Terrance told, we had this Christian psychologist on the radio show, right? Terrance had told this lady that he was going to add her to the team.
Mahal.
Because he saw her at some panel.
She touched Mahal.
He will lie.
Tracy said he know he would lie. He would lie. A lie ain't nothing for him to tell.
I was emotional.
A lie ain't nothing for him to tell.
Oh.
Right, baby said he don't mean no harm. It's out of all emotion. So here's the like you're talking about, Tracy, you need to be around us at all times. So here's the thing. Terrance saw this lady at some convention or something, like on a Saturday morning. She was a part of a panel, and they're doing this discussion about psychology and the church and stuff like that. So he said he was really impressed with because he saw her mind at work. And he was like, you know what? We need this on our show. So he told me, Trey, I got somebody I'm going to add to the team, man. She's sharp. She going to work, man. She going to fit. And I already told her, yeah, I'm going to make you a co-host on our radio show. So the lady come.
He done told her that with no conversation.
He done told her that with no conversation with management, nothing. The lady shows up to the radio show Monday afternoon because we were afternoon drive time, right? So excited. She got her little assistant there with her. She got her notebooks. She all dressed like we're going to be on TV. Like, man, we on radio. Why is you dressed to the nines? Terrance introduced me to the lady, like, yeah, Train, this is such and such. She's our new co-host. I'm like, oh, okay. How you doing? She was a doctor, like a real deal doctor, right? So we get in the studio. Terrance said, all right, look, I'm going to go on. I'm gonna introduce this segment, whoop the whoop. I'm going to introduce you. You come in, just say something small, and then we just want the people to greet you, train you, come in. We're going to do this, make this little announcement, touch the people, and we're going to be out. Cool. We go in, and he said, keep it short, keep it simple. We just doing a greeting. And she's like, okay. She got her headphones on. And he had told her, too, in the green room, he said, listen, although we're a gospel show, we don't do the whole church vernacular, and we don't get all churchy on here. He's like, it's a Christian radio show, but Terrance, they said they can't hear you. Okay, yeah, I am. So Terrance told her, you know, we don't use a lot of church vernacular, that Christianese. Don't come on here with that. Just, you know, just talk how you normally talk, how you did at the conference Saturday. And she's like, oh, okay. We go in the radio station. We go on air. She does her greeting. Pop, we come out of there. Terrance said, okay, we're going to go back in. I got a subject for you, and I want you to dissect it and approach it from a doctor's perspective. And me and Train to do what we do.
They came to this man, have him come out and come back in.
Can y'all hear Terrance? Terrance, say something. If you can hear Terrance, put a thumbs up in the comment. Wakia say no. They say no. Everybody say no. I don't know why. I can hear you. Okay.
Tell him to come out and come back in.
If you can't hear Terrance, log out and come back in.
No, Terrance logged out.
Oh, Terrance, you log out and come back in. All right, so can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Somebody say Uncle Teddy. Teddy Riley. Okay, so y'all can hear me. All right, so y'all can hear me. All right, so let's try to bring Terrance on again.
How's that?
All right, I can hear you. Let's see if they can hear you. Can y'all hear Terrance? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear Pickett. If you can hear Pickett, give me a thumbs up. Mook, what up, Mook?
Yeah, good. Okay.
All right, so we come back from commercial break. Terrance tell the lady, hey, listen, we're going to go back in. I'm going to bring up this subject, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer from a doctor's point of view. And me and Train to do what we do, but we want your doctor's point of view on it. She said, okay, cool. She goes in, Terrance throws the question up. She started talking, but she started talking with the dialect like she was a preacher. And then she started doing like a foundation, like she laying foundation to reveal some type of revelation.
Talk like her. Talk like her. Talk like she was doing. She said, well, one of the things that we got to know is...
One of the things, yeah. She's like, you know what? It's interesting that you bring that up. One of the things that we as a people have to realize, and she goes into this whole little thing.
Like she pulling the text.
Like she getting ready to preach. And Terrance is looking at her like, no. Like, what are you doing? Mind you, we face to face. He's looking at this lady like, no, what are you doing? And then he do this is what he does to me. This is is what he does to me. He put his hand to me, telling in front of my face, go to commercial. He's telling me to go to commercial. So I'm running the board. I go to commercial. He takes his headphones off. He's like, what was that? He said, what was? She's like, what? She said, I was answering your question. He said, but I told you we're not church on this show. Don't lose the churchiness. Talk like a doctor from a doctor's perspective. Like, don't be churchy. And she's like, oh, I got it. And Tracy, is this when you came in?
I was in the studio looking at y'all through the glass, and I got my hands out because I hear Terrance, the irritation in his voice, and he's yelling at the lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, tell him, like, calm down, don't yell at the lady.
Yeah, so Tracy's in the other studio through the glass, and she can hear Terrance through the monitor talking to the lady real harsh. So Tracy is in the other studio doing like this to Terrance. Like, hey. Like, no, stop that. Stop. Like, what? Because Terrance is aggravated with this lady.
Oh.
So she says, okay, I got it. We go back on air. Terrance brings the question back up to tag along with it, and he throws the ball back to this lady so that she can give her point of view from a doctor's perspective. And she goes back into her church voice again. Terrance is sitting. This lady is at the table. We're sitting across the table from her. It's probably about not even a foot in front of her. He's sitting with this lady. He's face to face. He got his headphones on, and she is talking. And she's real deep now. She's getting real deep in her little church voice, and she's getting her little point out, and she thinks what she's saying is real good. And Terrance is looking at the lady like this. So I'm looking at Pickett. I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm responding to the lady because he's not saying nothing. He ain't saying nothing. And she's asking him things that he could come in on, but he ain't saying nothing. No feedback at all. So this Negro, he's so mad, he takes his headphones off in the lady's face.
Live on air.
We're live on air. He takes his headphones off. He snatches them off, throws them on the floor, and puts his forehead on the table. In her face. His forehead is on the table, and his shoulders, his hand is hanging down on the table. This is how he's on the table as the lady is talking to him. He on the table like this. He threw his headphones off on the floor in front of her face, put his head on the table. Then I just went to commercial. I answered her. I'm like, let's go to commercial. That's good stuff. Appreciate it, doctor. All right, y'all, let's go ahead. We got to pay these bills. I go to commercial. Everybody takes the headset off. He tells the lady, what was that? Didn't I tell you that we're not churchy?
Oh.
And the lady is like, well, I thought he said, yeah, but not like that. Talk how you normally talk. He said, why you can't talk how you talking now?
So, to my defense.
But didn't he tell her this not gonna work?
So now he tells the lady, no, this ain't gonna work. He fired the lady before she even got started. He told the lady. And not only did he tell her it wasn't going to work, he shooed her. He's like, nah, this is not going to work. He shooed the lady. No, this not going to work. It's not going to work.
Oh.
He did that lady like this.
Oh.
She didn't hang around. She didn't hang around like for the whole show. They left early. And Tracy told Terrance, now can we make this the last time that you be doing stuff out of your
emotions? Hey, hold on. Let me tell you what else was funny about that day. I don't know if you remember this or not, but you did a joke that day about
it was a different lady, the female pastor.
About the eyebrows.
Yeah, I thought that was a different lady though.
That was the same lady.
The same lady.
Oh my God.
Train tells a joke about why do y'all, the lady didn't have no eyebrows, it was nothing but pencil.
I hadn't looked at her.
He does a joke. Why do y'all shave your eyebrows off then draw?
I told him, I said, if you got a female pastor,
I
told my intro was, not only was I a comedian, but I'm a church counselor. This is what I'm saying over air. And I was like, and Pickett talking about a counselor? I was like, yeah, because people don't know when to lead a church. And I help them know when to lead a church. Because sometimes people go to churches and they feel like they have to be there because God sent them there and they can't leave. But that ain't true. God he's approving, he's approving, like he approves, for you to lead a church. I was like, case in point, if you got a female pastor and she cut her eyebrows off and drawn back on, just lead a church. So the lady who's her assistant is laughing, but she's trying to hold it in. I'm thinking she just don't want to interrupt us on air. I hadn't put two and two together that she was trying not to laugh in her pastor's face, who's sitting next to her with drawn on eyebrows. So
that
Pickett
took me
is
out.
cracking up laughing over air.
That took
I'm
me
like,
out.
yeah, that's right. If she cut, because you got to understand, if she cut her eyebrows off, she got a problem with God's original intent. If she's cutting her eyebrows off, she probably cutting scriptures out the Bible and making the word say what she wanted to say. You should just lead a church, and everything I say, the more her assistant, remember, was sitting in the corner, and she put her face in the wall.
She did.
Because she didn't want the lady next to her to see her laughing.
She was rolling.
I'm thinking Terrance is laughing at me and what I'm saying. I didn't find out until afterwards that he's laughing because he know, Train, why are you saying that in front of a female pastor with her eyebrows cut off? And
everything he said in that joke, that woman possessed.
And she was sitting right there with us. So he laughing, he in tears. And I was like, oh man, I didn't even realize it. I'm like, oh, I didn't know she was no pastor. Big Steve, I swear to you, I was done. So one day we get pulled into the meeting with the owner. And Terrance told me before I went in there, he said, hey man, he said, just let me handle it. Just let him talk, because Terrance knew the guy. He's been known the guy for years. And he know how he is. So he's very emotional. To me, it's like, listen, Train. Very emotional. The guy's very emotional. And he's an older guy. So, an older white man. So Terrance was like, hey, Train, listen, when we go in here, let me do all the talking. Don't you say nothing. I know how to deal with them. I know how to handle them. Just let him talk. Don't take nothing to heart what he's gonna say. He said, just let me handle it. I was like, all right. No. So let me tell you, I want you to finish telling it. But I also told Train, I say, chill. Whatever he says, it doesn't mean anything. He's upset right now. He gonna say whatever he feel like saying. He's upset. Just you chill out. Let me handle it. I told Train specifically,
Don't talk. I got it. Go ahead.
So the guy was accusing me of saying or doing something. And I told him, I was like, well, you know, no disrespect, sir. I say, you know, in all due respect, that's not true. I never said that over the air.
That's not. Let me tell y'all how he said it.
And that man said, you calling me a lie? I said, I'm just saying what you saying ain't the truth. Now you.
No.
Terrance say, Trey, no.
Let me tell him what you said. What you said was the guy accused him of saying something. Trey say, this. Look at my face. This is what he said, and this is how he said it. Watch my eyebrow. I didn't say that. That's not what I said. What I said was such and such and such and such. So the guy say, are you calling me a lie? I didn't call you a lie. You called yourself a lie. So I say, hey, no, Trey, no. He says with a blank
he got out of
face.
his seat, came across the room. Are you calling me a lie? Are you calling me a lie?
The guy
walking up on me. Are you calling me a lie?
The guy wanted a fight. And the reason he wanted a fight is we were responsible for that whole budget for that radio station. He didn't like the fact that Train and I turned the whole station around. The station is making money, and he couldn't take credit for that. I knew going in, it was about ego. It wasn't about nothing Train did on the radio. He wanted us to acknowledge the fact that he was the owner, and we were grateful to be in the position we're in. Now, I wasn't going to play that card either, but I wasn't going to poke a sleeping bag. So I told Train, I knew what was going on. So the guy said, are you calling me a lie? Are you calling me a lie? Train said, I didn't call you a lie. You called yourself. Train, no. So now the guy is erratic. He's out of control. He's screaming.
He's going crazy.
He going whack. Train is doing this. And what does that mean? Because that's not what I said. I know who I am, and I know what I didn't call you that. You called yourself that. So now I gotta play middleman and shut Train up. Cause Train is not raising his voice. He's not raising his eyebrows. In fact, he's back like this here. Which is it's a non-threatening approach. But when you are mad and someone is not meeting you at the level of your anger, it pisses you off. And that's what Train did.
Because who wasn't studying him was me. All that hooping, hollering, and jumped up and down like cheetah. Like,
I remember the guy said, do you want a radio show? Train say, oh, it don't matter to me. I was somebody before I came. Hey, the guy got so mad. That's it. You're off. Oh!
Hey,
now,
he told Pickett, because the guy was like, so from that point forward, he didn't want Terrance to call me or address me as comedian A-Train over air. He said, ain't nothing funny, because it's a gospel station. He said, ain't nothing funny. So people are dying, going to hell every day. Ain't nothing to laugh about. They tune into the radio station to get inspiration and to get the word. Ain't nothing funny. So you're not a comedian. You're a minister. You're a minister. I said, I am comedian A-Train.
He did. I had to calm him down. The first thing I had to do, so when I couldn't get Train to just shut up, because he talking nonchalantly like, I know why I'm validated. I was validated before I got here. I understand authority, but you don't have the authority to tell me what my name is. I'm Comedian A-Train. That's what it is. That's what it was. That's what it's going to be. I'm just trying to get Train to shut up. He wouldn't shut up. So finally, I told Train, just leave. Train goes out the station. I sit there at the man's feet. Literally at this man's feet. And I start massaging his ankle because I knew that was his soft spot. I learned that working around him.
Listen, I'm walking out, and let's just say the man's last name is Smitty, you know, and Terrance sitting on the floor, and he got the man by the ankles. He like, Smitty, come on, Smitty, come on, Smitty, listen to me, Smitty, come on, Smitty, don't do this. And I'm looking at Terrance like, man, what did you do? Like, this bro is crazy. Like,
what you said is,
but Terrance knew him. Like, the guy was on medication. You know, he's been Baker Act before. You know what I'm saying? From his own business. Like, Terrance know the guy is bipolar, and he's a real nutcase. Like, for real. Like, so Terrance, you know, has a friendship with this guy, and he knows.
I knew how
the man would come in the station. The man would come in the station some days, and he'll come in the radio station, and he'll stand on the wall. He stand on the wall, and he'll say something, and he just walk out. And Terrance look at me and say, he high. I was like, what? He said, no. He said, I know him. He said, he's high on them pain pills, man. He high. So Terrance knew this dude, so he would talk him off the wall and talk him off the edge all the time. I wasn't finna.
Let me tell him one day a conversation that I had this man in 2 minutes. He came in, he was high on the meds, and this is what he said: I'm gonna sell the radio station. And so I was like, okay. Do you have a buyer? No. If I don't get one, I'm going to just bless somebody with it. Nigga, what? This is the kind of stuff that we had to deal with. So what I said, I tell you what then. If you're going to bless somebody with the radio station, let me be there with you so that we can do it together and I can honor you by being in the room with you. Listen, it was. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, agree with your adversary quickly. If I had said anything like, why would you do something dumb like that? It would have set him off. Train walks out the door. I'm on the floor. I grabbed the man's ankle because here's the deal. His ankle was his soft spot. It will make him calm down. His wife told me that.
I know what y'all thinking. Like, well, who would even know that?
Right. His wife was my mentor. So I grabbed him by the ankle. Train is going out, talking about, Pickett, leave him to himself. Come on, let's go. No, Negro, we trying to save this show. Is you out your mind? I say, Train, I'll be with you in a moment. Come on, Pickett. He wasn't leaving without Pickett. And I'm trying to get them away from each other. But that was funny, boy.
Hey, you remember that day we had to host that festival or something that was at Hemet Plaza? It had the mayor out there, had the former mayor out there. You had the sheriffs, you had the politicians.
CC Wine's concert, wasn't it?
You had these different choir groups that came up and sung.
I think that was CC Wine's concert, yeah.
We were co-hosting. No, not CC Wine's. That was at Metropolitan Park. This one was at Hemet Plaza, where the boy was coming on stage. The choir was trying to line up, and you and I were hosting. And you had the microphone. And you just started ranking on people. And the boy was a big guy. And I forget what we were talking about, their group. And I was like, oh, y'all better be able to sing because of something. And then they said something back. And then here's what y'all have to understand about Terrance. he's not your typical jokester. Like you can play with Terrance and he'll swat a net with a sledgehammer. You can tease Terrance like, look at your hat cricket. Terrance would be like, that's why your mama dead. What kind of hat your mama got? What kind of hat your mammy got? So I'm always trying to tell him, hey, Pickett, just tone the knife on now, Trey, you gotta hit them niggas. You gotta hit
them. Oh, I remember that.
Terrance is in the microphone and he is going in on one of the choir members on this lineup. It was so cold. It was so cold-blooded that I went and hugged the dude's neck. I said, hey, man, I'm sorry, man. It was that dude. He started with that guy first because the dude was a big dude, you know what I'm saying, run over. Yes, he said something about that girl weed. Oh, my God. Over the microphone, downtown, this big event, people are everywhere. All kind of political officials out there. I'm talking about the sheriff. We're on the steps of City Hall. Terrance, I like Pickett. No, so he died laughing because her weed was horrible. It was horrible. But he said something about it in the microphone. He just went down the line as they was trying to come up on stage. He hit every last one of them. We get back to the radio station. Oh, it's all kind of voicemails. So one of the program directors asked Terrance, so how did the festival go? Terrance like, oh, because I know what it was. It was a what do you call it, visual? Like when somebody dies and we doing
a visual.
The boy who got is an innocent bystander in a drive-by, sitting on his grandma's porch and got killed by in a drive-by, stray bullet or whatever. And so we're at a vigil. So we're out there at the vigil, and so the radio station. And they got the whole community involved, and they're trying to find, the shooter and all this. So you got the high schools out there. You got everybody. You got the kids out there. Everybody's out there. So the radio station asked Terrance that following week. They say, "Hey, how did the visual go?" And Terrance said, "Oh man, burdens was lifted." He said,
"Hearts were lifted and burdens were removed."
Hearts were lifted and burdens were removed. And they was like, oh, okay. Knowing that they got all these phone calls from all kind of people asking that Terrance be fired, and they came said, and they want to know who them two comedians out here on the stage. So the program director said, Terrance, so how did it go? Terrance said, oh, hearts was lifted, man, and burdens were removed. It was a great time. And they was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. And then they tell him about all the phone calls that he got. So now we in the studio. We on air. Before we start today's program,
to the whole city.
They made Terrance apologize on after the whole city, man.
Oh.
Said, hey, we were out there to have fun, light hearts, and I just want you all to know that anything I said, no, it wasn't my heart. Just know it wasn't my heart. And don't take it serious, but I do apologize if whatever I said was offensive to anybody. That is not my heart. We were there to serve you all as a community.
No, I'm on air apologizing, and you on the floor laughing. Because you didn't know I was going to apologize. I opened the studio. Sometimes we just don't get it right. Sometimes.
Hey, man. One day, I forget, I wasn't on air with you this day. I was coming in from out of town, and I turned the radio station on. I turned the radio on. And we were just coming up 95 from like St. Augustine area. And we were between St. Augustine, well, we were between World Golf Village and 9A. And I heard you apologizing about something, but it wasn't, I knew you were apologizing, but it wasn't like you were saying, hey, I'm sorry for this, sorry for that, I apologize for that, apologize for this. You were in this rhythm and this tone of love, admiration, and justifying. And I told Tracy, I said, oh Lord, what that boy done did now? I said, that boy done did something. I said, you don't apologize. So you went to commercial and I called the studio. I said, hey, I said, nigga, what you done did? And you bust out laughing. Tracy talking about go straight to the station. Go straight to the station. So I got off 95. I got off 95 and drove and got on 9A and came straight to the radio station. And I walked in the studio and you didn't know I was coming. And boy, you saw me come across that window. You bust out laughing.
I remember that. I don't remember what it was for, but I remember that.
And then one day he had this youth pastor on in the studio, just hanging out on air with us, right? And in Jacksonville, they had the Funk Fest. It was the Funk Fest.
Yeah.
And this youth pastor, who we thought was pretty cool, approachable, down to earth, you know what I'm saying? Because we know his whole family, know his dad, know the whole church family. So we had him on air with us one day, just chilling. And Terrance threw the boy on air. Like, look who we got in the studio. Give him something, Doc. What you got for the people? And that boy started talking about the Funk Fest, and he said, everybody who went to Funk Fest going to hell.
Yeah.
And he said it over air. And Pick was like, hold on now, wait a minute. He's like, oh, yes, sir. Ain't no Christian got no business ain't got no business at the Funk Fest. So now I'm standing on the wall looking like, oh, my God. So Pickett make the boy, we go to break. Terrance like into the dudes, like, nigga, what is you doing? He said, what? He's like, if a Christian is at the Funk Fest and they ain't down there witnessing trying to save souls, they going to hell. Terrance like, no, man. No, bro. You got to fix that. You got to fix that. He goes back on air and he tells that boy, all right, now I need you to explain what you were saying.
I meant well. My heart was in the right place.
It's like, now most, like, Jacksonville is made up of churches. Who do you think is gonna make up the crowd at this Funk Fest? So you trying to say anybody who's a Christian, if they're at the Funk Fest, they're going to hell? Well, I mean, that's a personal belief of mine. No, you gotta fix that, man. You walked away from the microphone as he began to scramble and try to talk. And you left him on air by himself.
Oh.
But that radio days was something else, boy. Somebody said, oh my God, they remember that.
Oh. I remember that time we had this co-host that Tracy had to heal.
Huh? Oh, that Tracy had to heal?
Because everything I told her not to do, she did. I said, you making me lose ratings. Hey. So, hey, Trey, so let me ask you this. Would you say I'm a better person than I was then? Back then, I just had no.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So she came on the air, and my ratings dropped. So I had a conversation in the hallway with her. I'm giving you a chance, but since you've been on, my ratings don't drop. Tracy had to heal her. Tracy had to heal her.
Tracy gave her a nice slot and a nice role to play. And then she got arrogant.
Yeah, one talk to the people. I ain't like
we
that.
Like, hold on now. You know, you do know all you do is the weather, don't you?
I remember you told that girl that.
Oh my God. Somebody put on my Facebook wall one day, something must be done about that Terrance Pickett.
That's because he wasn't doing it right. So the deal is, my motto used to be, you kill a gnat with a sledgehammer. You that used to be my motto. So the way you beat people in submission, you just take that machine gun out and you keep shooting even when they fall. You just keep shooting. So if you ever came for me, I was going to unload on you till I felt comfortable. It may have taken all day. I remember I stayed on that dude, the one you talking about, all day on Facebook. All day.
That fool, we had a friend, we had a homeboy of ours, big guy, you know, heavyset guy, but his teeth fell out. So as friends, you know, we joke on each other. He would call the radio station off air just to do some, like, holler at us or whatever, and, you know, cracking jokes back and forth on Terrance. Off air. Terrance goes back on air, address the boy by name, and say, tell him don't talk to me until he gets his teeth fixed.
Oh, I can't take no more. Oh, that was the old me, y'all. That was the old me. I'm not like that no more. I'm sorry.
Where your teeth at? Where your teeth at, huh?
Yeah, the old him.
Where you go?
Me and him used to go at it.
So where you gonna get your teeth fixed? Talk about that. Where you gonna get your teeth fixed? It is over air. Tracy say the old Terrance. They had to go, what'd you say, babe?
We used to go at it.
So her and the old Terrance used to go at it.
But you know the funny part, I didn't think I was wrong. To my defense, I just did.
He have to give you a couple hours, and then you'll call back and say, hey,
he will always come back. Now I will say that.
Yeah, he'll always come back. It's like, you know, you're right. I just process things different.
Boy, you ain't nothing. You know that?
He told me one time, he said, Trey, tell Tracy, you know, I'm telling you.